Today we're going to be talking about crochet, starting with a slip stitch and a chain. So one of the first things you need to do is first pick some yarn. Bam, done. I'm using Red Heart Super Saver. Man, I love Red Heart Super Saver. Oh, it's so inexpensive. You can get it at anywhere, but I buy mine at Walmart because it's cheapest there and it's awesome. You get a lot of it. Find the size hook you want to use. This one recommends using an I hook or a 9mm hook. I don't want to do that though. I'm gonna be a rebel. I love a J hook, and if you're just starting out, I encourage you to try a J or an I or a K. This is a K that I'm holding right here, but if you notice, there's a couple of subtle differences in these hooks. Can you see here? This is a tapered hook. This is an inline hook. Let's take a look here for a second at the differences. In a inline hook, it's kind of a sudden drop off right here, a little bit more sharp. The hook itself, of course, isn't sharp, but the inside of this hook here, if you touch it, it actually feels a little bit sharp to the touch, not unlike a blade. The tapered hook, where it does still have that slope off, it's a little bit more of a graceful slope, softer even, and it has a more rounded inside here. It doesn't feel sharp, it feels dull, which I love. The tip of a tapered hook is typically a little bit more pointy than an inline hook as well. My favorite to use is a tapered hook, but when you're first starting out, a lot of people like to use the inline hooks. I think, honestly, it grips it a little bit more, and sometimes my hands even to this day get caught using an inline hook, so use whatever you like. They're really inexpensive to buy, $1.60 a piece, and that's on the higher end. So this is Boye brand, B-O-Y-E. When I teach crochet to people in person, I almost always start with a J. All right, so let's start with a slip stitch to start our chain, okay? So you don't have to do a slip stitch, of course. You can just tie yourself a little knot around, and wherever you put it, you just want to start it right here on this kind of thick part before it starts to slope down, right on that thick part there. You don't want it on the biggest part, right where your fingers go. You can do a simple knot. That's fine, but I just like a slip knot because if I want to unravel the whole thing, I don't have to worry about cutting off the end because there's a knot there. So to do a slip knot, you're just gonna pinch a little loop right here, wrap it around one of your fingers, and slip the knot, literally, right through that hole, okay? Slip knot. Lots of people know how to do those already, but just in case you didn't, there it is. I gave myself a nice long tail to grip onto here. All right, so the very first thing you're going to do is place the hook in your right hand. I grasp it automatically by my thumb and forefinger, okay? It's going to rest gently as if I were writing. I could write like this. This is how I write. Some people, especially knitters, will like to go overhand. I don't do that, but if that makes you feel more comfortable, you can hold your tail with your thumb and forefinger and hold the hook in your hand, okay? So this is how I hold mine, like I'm writing. Now with my left hand, what I'm going to do is I'm gripping thumb and forefinger, and then my middle finger is gripping the end of the tail here. Can you see that? So I take my left hand and I wrap it from back to front. Notice the angle of my hook. My hook is actually facing toward me, flat on top. So I wrap it, and as I wrap, I also pull. So I take my thumb and forefinger of my left hand and I grab this knot right on the bottom. When I grab it, I let go of my right hand, okay? So I'm just holding the hook now. I'm not holding the yarn. So I'm going to slide it down, and as I slide, watch what my hook does. Okay, so right here, watch the hook. My hook points toward me and points down just a little bit to scoop that yarn right in, okay? Let's do it again, nice and slow. So holding my yarn on my hook here, holding the tail, okay, holding that there. The hook is pointing toward me. I'm going to take my left hand, wrap around the hook. Notice I'm holding that yarn steady with my pinky and my ring finger over here. With these two fingers, you can use your middle and your index, you can, whatever you want to do. I reach over and I pull. So as I reach over, I'm letting go with these fingers, and I pull it down the slope, and my hook starts to turn downward ever so slightly. So I'm just pulling it right over the end of the hook, okay? Again, yarn over, always toward you, and slowly slide it down that stick down the hook toward the end there, okay? And then push it back to where it was. I use my middle finger to anchor it in place. I use my ring finger and my pinky and my thumb to hold it. I hold it right against my thumb there. I use my other hand to wrap, to grasp, and notice it's actually a lot easier to grasp now because I've got a little bit more chain to hold on to as it slides down. So let me just do a couple more of these slowly for you. Wrap around, reach over and grab, slide it down the line and around the hook. Wrap around, reach over and grab, slide it down, and the hook swivels towards you ever so slightly. Do you see that slight movement there? Wrap around, the hook is pointing toward me, and it just goes slightly down. So the hook goes like this. This is the motion right here, okay? Okay. Wrap around, pull through. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to practice this over and over and over again until you do 50 of them. And once you've done 50 chains, no, I have not been counting, but once you've chained 50 times each one of these, this counts as one chain. This counts as one chain. Once you've done that 50 times, watch the next video.